is it worth the money to miss those moments? And I kind of realized for a while there that it wasn't, you know, because I have an option. I had a choice to you know, do that type of work or try to find something, you know, where I can have that family life. I had a choice on what I wanted to do.
What about your transition, man? How was that for you?
Man, I'll tell you what. I've made some stupid decisions in my life.
Oh, tell me more.
Oh, yeah. and so my transition back into civilian life. So I had kind of my military career was one of those where I just happened to fall in the right units at the right time where I was never home. You know, I show up to First Cav and Gary Owen, they're already downrange. Yeah. So I had a month there on Hood, straight to Iraq. We come back, we have a year and 2 weeks. We go right back to Iraq again. I come back and I go to Fort Bliss, and you know, they PCS me. So I go to Fort Bliss and I'm gone. We're in this test brigade. So another unit that's just constantly gone in the field, never at home. Come back to Hood, same type of unit. Well, what does my dumbass do when it's time to get out of the Army? I go from Friday evening, I get my DD-214 on Friday. Saturday morning, I'm in the oil field. Start my new job in the oil field. So I go directly from, you know, better part of a decade of never seeing my family, and my dumbass chooses a job where I'm going straight to the oil field, and I don't never see my family again after that.
Right.
So I'm like, what are you doing, man? So I do that for a while, and then I choose another job that, you know, has me not seeing my family. I go to the railroad. So I said, you know, I need a job where I can see my family. I didn't get to raise my older kids. You know, I was just gone all the time. My wife's doing everything on her own, and then like an idiot, you know. Now I don't have UCMJ telling me I have to be somewhere, and I choose to go out into the oil field. So when I look back at that, I think my transition was very smooth because I was fortunate enough to have a job where I started the day after ETS, so I was grateful for that, and I was very thankful. But going straight into another field where I'm gone all the time didn't make a whole lot of sense for me especially after that first few months out of the military, you know?
Yeah, it sounded like your transition was easy, except for it wasn't so easy on your family.
Exactly. And I had to kind of reevaluate some of that because I didn't get to do a lot of the things that I can do now because I have a local job and I don't have to, you know, be gone at all, ever. And I can do those little, you know, drop off at schools and pickups and all that kind of stuff.
The important stuff.
Yeah, the important stuff, you know. Right. So I would say that it was smooth, but maybe not the best career choice, I would say, as far as my transition out of the military goes. You know, you live and learn, right?
Absolutely.
Well, I mean, I can definitely relate, man. I mean, when I got out the military and I put a lot of hours, man, you know, first one in, last one out type of deal. Man, I went into oil and gas as well, and I mean the money was great. I mean, if you're down here in Texas, you know, I mean, one of my sons is an operator. All his friends are operators. I mean, where else can you go as a young 20-year-old kid with moderate education and go make six figures a year? Yep. And I don't think people understand that, like how lucrative that is in this area, and the calling, the drawing, like you are drawn to that field. I mean, my father did it, family, friends. I mean, my whole family's in the oil and gas industry, man. It just seemed like a natural fit, but bro, it got boring. And I mean, again, time away from your family, man. How much time are you giving up? I mean, because you don't get that time back. You don't. I mean, and it's the important shit. It's dropping your kids off at school. It's going to soccer games. It's having that ability, having that opportunity to do that. And I mean, it's not Some of that shit's hard work, man.
Yeah, man.
You get paid real well, but you
Oh
don't
yeah.
work for it.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know, it is very lucrative. Very lucrative, but you got to kind of figure out where's your balance, right? You know, what do you want to do? Is it worth the money to miss those moments? And I kind of realized for a while there that it wasn't, you know. Because I have an option. I had a choice to you know, do that type of work or try to find something,
Right.
you know, where I can have that family life. I had a choice on what I wanted to do. And I kind of decided to chase the money at first. And I think a lot of that has to do with the fact that, man, you're so broke in the military, you know?
Yeah.
You don't make shit. So when you see something, you know, a nice shiny object being dangled in front of you after you spent, you know, 8 years and way below the poverty line, barely scraping by. It's hard to not, you know, take that shiny thing and run with it. But then again, I think it's even harder to realize that now you're intentionally not spending time with your family. You know,
Yeah.
you're not being forced to anymore. The Uncle Sam's not telling you you're going to go here, and we're going to tell you when to come home. You know, you've made that decision now on your own. So you got to reevaluate some stuff sometimes. And think, man, what's
I
more
think
important?
one of the most difficult things for us to learn in life as people is life balance. Mm-hmm. You know, same thing. When I got out, I lived in my service truck. You know, I was always after that overtime. You know, hey, we need someone to go out Sunday and fix this. Hey, I'm your man. You know, because I had this drive. I wanted my kids and my family to have more than I had. You know, coming up a little hungry, you always want the next generation to have it better. You know, and that's something that we don't get a lot of focus on as young men and women, is how to develop a healthy life balance. You know, and it's later in life that we get that opportunity, most of us, and you start looking back and you go, man, I missed a lot of things. You know.
Mm-hmm.
And you try to justify in your head, going, well, I was supporting my family, but it still gets at you a little bit,
Mm-hmm.
And fortunately, right now, I have that opportunity to have a healthy life balance, and one of the best things so far is just being a grandpa. It's almost like a second chance, to catch up on the things you missed with your own children.
Right.
My kids are like, how come they get away with that?
Oh, no.
So,
Exactly.
but I have a lot more patience now too.
Right.
So
I wanted to kind of springboard back to something you said earlier. It's really one of my cultural pet peeves, and you just hit it. And I don't hear a lot of people hit it, but since you did, I'd love to just visit with your thoughts on this one thing, and that is, not everyone needs to go to college.
right,
I think there's as a dad and a granddad, I look at my kids and say, what are you good at? Mm-hmm. And I look at college and how much college costs today. Redistribution of wealth, in my opinion, in most cases. But our kids need some direction, and as we push. But I'm more about what's going to fulfill you in life, what's going to excite you in your daily activity, what's going to motivate you to really put out all your potential. And so technical schools need, I think, to become more popular in the way we teach and train our young people.
I agree. I 100%. There was no way. I tried it. I took correspondence classes in the military. And,
Right.
And it's just like I'm no good at this.
That shit's worthless anyway. All those correspondent courses were just for
But just the whole environment, the classroom, and everything else. I'm like, man, I'm just no good at this. I need hands-on stuff. I learn hands-on. And that's the thing that I think. I'm sure there's places that do it, but if we could give our young people opportunities to, explore what they're good at, maybe even what they're passionate about, and let them develop those tools, you'd realize a lot of them don't need to go to a Ivy League school. They need to go to welding school, and encourage those type of careers, because there again, when we had this this little lockdown thing a few years back, what industries were working, that was a key thing I pointed out to my family. I'm like, hey, look around, look at the industries that are continue to work. Look at the industries that unfortunately, we're kind of shut down there for a minute. But it's just, and a lot of those industries were, basically blue collar and
Right.
skill level type work. So,
Well, if you look at the history of our country, it's the blue collar worker that carries the backpack for this country. We're under the impression that that's not true. We look at the wealth amongst some people and we say, "Man, I'm sure glad they're here." But at the end of the day, it's still the small business that carries the highest percentage of employees, and it's still the small business where that excitement and that creativity and that entrepreneurship, where you find your passion and you put it to work. And because we live in America, guess what? We get to drive that vehicle. We get to examine who we are, what we are. We have an idea, we want to try something. At least you can try.
Yep.
Everybody can try. That doesn't
Right.
mean you're going to be successful. But we have a system where, heck, if Bear wanted to start a business tomorrow, all Bear would have to do is wake up and start a business. Mm-hmm. He doesn't have to get permission from the government. He has to get permission from his wife. That's about it. But other than
Definitely
that,
gotta do that.
if Bear wants to start a business, there's nothing stopping him from taking whatever dream or passion he has to do that. Gosh, that's what you guys did. Y'all woke up
Absolutely.
and said, "We're gonna make some hats, man. Where's my garage?
Yeah.
Let's get out there in the garage and let's start making hats." You didn't have to ask permission. You just started doing it. Man, that's what's cool about living here. Americans don't
It really is.
understand.
Yep.
We think we have to go get locked up somewhere in some job that we don't like, something we don't enjoy. We have to get this great degree so we can do something we really don't want to do.
Yep.
And I just love the idea of finding your passion and chasing it.
And that's one of the things that's so lucrative about oil and gas is you don't necessarily have to have a college degree. A lot of places will hire you without experience if you know somebody. It's not what you know, it's who you know.
right.
Man, I am not pro college, right? I mean, my kids and I talk about this all the time. Man, I remember taking a liberal arts class. And I had a general studies degree because who the hell knows what they want to do,
You don't know.
right? And unless you're in a specialized field, a doctor, a lawyer, an engineer, something like that, or why in the hell do you need a degree? How many waiters and waitresses have kinesiology degrees or an English degree, or you know what I mean? I mean, it's ridiculous. Instead of getting some type of certification like from a tech school to where you can actually contribute to society, man, I'm gonna take this dumbass class that somebody thought would be part of a well-rounded education. Man, I have enough credit hours for a master's, but I have yet to finish up my bachelor's. I'm like 5 classes short. But they're all upper level electives, man. I'm not going back to school for underwater basket weaving.
Yeah, fucking PE
Yeah.
or something, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Just to
Well,
get
it's,
a credit.
Yeah, it's
right?
like where I'm at in my career, right? If I went back to school tomorrow and got a bachelor's,
Yeah.
because I have an associate's, because I went to tech school, and it really wouldn't advance my career much at all or any, It would just be a personal thing if I just wanted to do that, but it's
I don't want anybody thinking that we're sitting here dogging education.
no, absolutely
absolutely
not.
not.
I am dogging higher
you're
education. I'm
dogging-
absolutely dogging higher education. Right, how many doctors do you know that are complete idiots that can't turn on a damn computer? Like, I mean, seriously. And if y'all didn't know, Chap's one of my very, very good friends, and he's very modest. but he's actually a doctor. So we have a lot of conversation about this. Like, I know you don't, I know I'm making you uncomfortable right now, but he has a doctorate in theology. We talk about religion and spirituality all the time.
Yep.
And I'm like his hard case, right? 'Cause I'm
Shocker.
like, yeah.
Big surprise.
Man, he's a load, bro.
Yeah.
He's a load.
But it's nice, man. I mean, it's nice to be able to talk to somebody that's truly educated and is truly well versed in education and just doesn't have a piece of paper.
Yeah. I think the whole key is you do what you feel led to do, not because someone leads you that direction, but because that's what you want to do. A lot of kids go to college today because mom and dad expect them to.
Yeah.
You're going to college because that's going to make your life great. We've been saving up money for 20 years. Boy, you're going to college. What are you going to do? General studies? Because I don't know.
Because you don't know, right?
You don't know.
Yeah, you don't know.
That's what I was told.
Yeah.
And, you know, a perfect example of what you guys are talking about here, you know, as far as what you need a college degree for, when I got out of the Army and I went to the oil field, I was a mud logger. Okay, so what that person's role on the rig is to monitor the oil and gas that's coming out of the hole, obviously, and you're basically a geologist, right? So you're taking the mud pumps through the hole and it comes back up, and you're taking samples of that.
See what's down there.
See what you're digging in. You know, are we in shale or we in salt? Where are we in, right? So that particular job requires a 4-year geology degree. Well, I got a book, Geology for Dummies. This is a true story. I shit you not. I got a book, Geology for Dummies. I still have it. And I studied that book. And then I went and I interviewed out here in Houston. I was stationed at Fort Hill at the time. So Geology for Dummies, I studied it. I came out here. I interviewed for this job. Everyone else on that well that was a mud logger had a 4-year degree in geology. I had nothing. I had Geology for Dummies. I go in there. I do good in the interview. I get the job. So now I'm out here looking at shit under a microscope. I never looked at nothing under a microscope since probably high school, you know, science class. And I'm now looking at this freaking oil rig, and I'm pulling samples out of the earth, putting them underneath the microscope and typing into the thing all the fancy geology words that I had to learn from Geology for Dummies, because you got to describe it. You got to put it on this chart, and you got to describe what you're looking at. You know, we're looking at this shale here, and it's, you know, it's got all these weird different little codes and descriptions of what you're looking at there. And I'm the only one I didn't have no college. I'm doing the same job, making the same money as this kid who went to college for 4 years and had a degree in geology. And I'm just some asshole fresh out of the military. And they were okay with hiring me. Well, because I did get on the interview.
Right.
But they knew that I wasn't going to be an issue being gone for 3-4 months at a time, you know, without seeing my family. Because they knew that that's the environment that I just came from. So they say, how are you? So, yeah, to your point, right? What did I need a geology degree to do that job? I literally read the book, Geology for Dummies.
You needed the Cliff Notes.
Yeah, exactly.
You needed the Cliff
I didn't even
Notes.
sit there and read the whole damn thing. I just...
Yeah.
Yeah,
You know?
something to put into practice.
exactly.
You had to demonstrate some type of workable knowledge for that. And that was probably more pertinent to that information, to that field, than what these, I mean, what's changed in English or mathematics over the last, I don't know, several decades, right? Anything? Like, so you've got these...
I don't know.
These
I
professors.
still haven't used trigonometry yet. I mean,
Well, it's not relevant. My thing is you have to stay relevant. We were talking about that again this morning. Man, there's a reason the Army doesn't have chocolate chip camo anymore.
Yeah.
Right? They had to adapt. Frankly, there's some badass camo, right? Who doesn't like cryptic or multicam? You know, I mean, that's, yeah. What do they say? That's Jesus' camouflage.
Yeah.
Anyway.
I didn't mean for us to run on a diatribe, but
No.
I just want to encourage young people that you can be extremely successful in this country because of the way we're made as a country. You can be extremely successful with or without college education. I'm going to be honest. I want my surgeon to go to school.
Oh, no doubt.
Okay? I want my lawyer to go to school.
I want my lawyer to
All right?
go to school, too.
But
Yep.
if you're building a house, I really don't care if you have a degree in construction or not. I really don't care. If you're pouring my concrete in my driveway, I don't care if you know how to do the math. If you know how to pour the concrete, I'm good. You know. And there are there's a million jobs right now in America where people that want to work can go get a job. Some of them require degrees. Some of them don't. Some of them just certifications. You'd be amazed at what certification you do. You get 2 or 3 welding certifications.
Oh, yeah.
You're in 6 figures. I don't care what
yeah.
school you go to. You're literally 6 figures if you just a couple of certifications, because we do so much welding now in America.
Yep.
And so I don't want to. That's not what the show's all about. But man, I thought we should talk about it, because everything we talk about on KS Project is really about education and how do we communicate what's going on in the world. So thanks, guys. Appreciate that.